We do Dex Spaces every week with the largest traders, platforms, blockchains, you name it. And I mean, Simon's Cat, you guys don't need an introduction. With billions of views, millions of subscribers, but for people that are living under a rock, can you share the vision behind launching the official Simon's Cat token? What's it all about?
Of course, very happy to. So last year we've seen like a massive uprise in alternative meme tokens. We've seen that dog meme tokens have been performing very well in the past, and all of a sudden we saw a shift in the market where things turned more to other animals, cats in particular. We've also seen like political memes, frog memes, etc., etc. But one narrative that stuck really well in the market was definitely the cat versus dogs narrative. Which one is the more popular amongst the two um, pets, right? Like they are the most popular to have as a pet at home. Which one is the most popular in crypto? So it kind of became like a rising star of a narrative. And I have a background in Web3 marketing, and so do all of the peers in my team. um, so we do have a very strong presence in Web2 as well as in Web3, and we acquired the IP rights to Simon's Cat because the moment we saw it, we thought, okay, this is perfect. This fits the narrative, what we see in the market so well. Like cats are on the rise. Simon's Cat is an existing intellectual property with billions of views, with over 20 million game downloads amongst all of their apps. They have well over 25 million followers across all of their social channels. And the way that I personally look at the market is, okay, everybody is trying to achieve like mass adoption, mass adoption, mass adoption. We need to onboard the masses. And there are many ways to roam, but overall the consensus in crypto was always like, we need better infrastructure, we need faster transaction speeds, we need better tech to onboard people, because people are interested in tech and people are interested in better UI UX and all of this yada yada. And while it is very important um, to really onboard like massive numbers of people, you need to have something that is easy to understand, something that's relatable, something that's funny, and something that can spark this sense of community. And this, if I just looked at this, it was like it fits like a glove, right? Like you really onboard the masses by having already an existing big audience, but also the concept makes sense. So we acquired the IP. We stepped towards Floki and we said, hey, look, guys, we have this idea. Um, do you guys want to partner on this or not? And turns out, like, the Floki team was already a huge fan of Simon's Cat. Um, like in Web2, they used to watch the web series, they used to watch the comics. And for the people who don't know, like Simon's Cat has been around since 2008. It started off as a series on the BBC, later became very popular um, on social media with like short form clips, but also comics, and then to have like products in pet stores, but also in like bookstores, etc. So it really became a household name, just like Garfield. Like in most of the stores of the major retailers, you can find something Simon's Cat related. So yeah, to summarize and to come back to your question, what's the vision behind Simon's Cat? Is really to utilize a very strong IP to onboard the existing audience of this IP into Web3, but also um, to showcase how important IPs are for Web3. So this is kind of the vision that we had, and of course the timing was bar to none, since it was cat season, and in my opinion, it still is.
Amazing. Thank you for the overview and, the backstory on how you guys moved forward with pulling something like this off, because it's not easy to do so. A lot of projects lack the marketing, the community. You guys stepped in the game with millions of subscribers. I mean, I have a toddler at home, and it's funny because He's like, can you put Simon's Cat on? And it's the first thing I think about is the meme token. And that leads me to ask, how do you guys leverage the billions of views, the millions of subscribers? How is the IP being leveraged throughout the existing community you guys have?
So this is an interesting one because you're dealing with a very different target audience than the Web3 target audience. So there's multiple components. The first one is, how do you reach the existing target audience of Simon's Cat, which exists of, like you said, like toddlers, but it could also be parents, it could also be elderly. It's a very, very wide target audience, right? And what we see with crypto, who's using a layer 2 blockchain, that this is a very niche group. So the marketing for something completely Web3 and something partly Web3 and something completely Web2 is very different. So you have to use very universal language, easy to understand, and you have to educate the people as well, because you can imagine that a random boomer, he would not immediately be in favor of its favorite IP turning into a cryptocurrency. Well, the image of a cryptocurrency this person has may be very negative and may even stem back from 2012, where cryptocurrencies were associated with drug money. So this has been like a little bit of a challenge, of course, to leverage the existing target audience. But overall, I feel like we did a very good job, because it's our website really goes down to the point. It's very sleek. It's in completely in the house style of Simon's Cat. Um, our social media, the Web3 channels, they're separate from the Web2 channels, although we do push like the largest news events on the Web2 channels as well, in more easy to understand language. But this way we make sure that like every Web3 geek can follow us on the Web3 channels, but also the people from the Web2 who are interested in the Web3 stuff can simply press a link in bio, follow all of the Web3 stuff. And we make everybody enthusiastic on the Web2 channels by the biggest updates. For example, like big listing on Revolut, which sparks a lot of trust and accountability. And people see Revolut these days as a household name. It's really popular. It's established. So those kind of news events we do push on the Web2 channels. New product releases we do on the Web2 channel. So we kind of intertwine them, and step by step by step, you try to onboard these masses, you try to connect the dots along the way. Everything is there. You just gotta massage everything into a place that it makes sense. And like we touched upon earlier in this space, timing is essential. You know, if we did this a few years ago, it might not have been taken off. Maybe now, who knows? But that's also the thing with reaching the Web2 target audience. Right news at the right time, priming everybody to understand more by educating, and then you can increase the intensity over time. So that's for the um, existing target audience. And I think for the Web3 audience, it was especially interesting that there was already such a big audience, which was a narrative on its own. Like that number alone, um, it showed like massive interest from the Web3 community. Like, hey, this is like the first time we see it on this scale. Yeah, we've seen it with smaller IPs, but this is unprecedented. So yeah, that's a little bit like how we approach the audiences.
Awesome. I mean, it's really interesting listening to you, and of course, hearing out your explanation on the community, because it's important, of course, to know your target market. But you guys have such a large community that, as you mentioned, it's important to market it in a way that it's accessible and people understand it from all walks of life at any age. I mean, you're not going to be marketing more so Web3 crypto message to Web2 users, or, you know, the toddlers, for example, or come off like very degenny. So I totally understand where you're coming from, where everything needs to be communicated very simply and makes sense for everybody reading it, whether it be your grandpa, my child, or the trader in the trenches, right? So it's been some time since we last spoke. I think it was TG, and you guys totally knocked that out of the park. It's great to see you guys still building, still shipping. I have to ask, what's new? Do you guys have any new campaigns, partnerships? Is there anything you can surprise us with? Can you tease us with anybody? There's a lot of people listening in right now.
Of course. So I'm trying to do my best here without the rest of the team getting super angry at me. Obviously, we are still building. I think we showcased that Q1 of 2025 and Q2 of 2025 quite well when the entire market was declining like crazy. Everybody lost its faith in crypto, capitulations, left, right, to center. But we still decided to release Lockdrop at the time. So Lockdrop is like a platform where you can stake your cat tokens, and in return you can get airdrops from other projects, from other trending projects. And at the same time, we try to give our community a fair chance to get to know and to understand this project via threads, via Twitter Spaces like this, for example. So this is like one thing that we did in the past. If we have like tailwind or headwind, doesn't matter. We will always keep building, and this is no different right now. I think we're right now in a very good spot in the market, um, and a lot more partnerships are coming up for Lockdrop. That's one thing that I can say. Another thing that I can say is exchanges. We have already a majority of the popular exchanges right now. However, there will be more. There will be more in the future. And for new products, I can't say too much, but like I said earlier in this space, it's all about connecting the dots and timing everything at the right moment. Everything around this IP is already existing. We have millions of followers. We have very strong IP. We have physical products in stores. We have games. We have millions of downloads. We have a successful token that's accessible on all major exchanges. And now, also for us, the challenge is to connect the dots and make everything work. So there will be more coming up, new products coming up in the future. But what exactly and in what way, shape, or form, I cannot say anything about it. Um, that's still completely unknown. I cannot disclose this for now, but rest assured that we are still building just as hard as ever. So I'm very excited for the future, and yeah, I'm beyond excited for the future, to be honest. So I hope that's a bit of a satisfactory answer. I know it we don't release too much news here, but all I'm saying is stay tuned.
Of course. I mean, I think it's totally better to underpromise and overdeliver than being on the opposite side. And you know how crazy the Web3 crowd can get, right? And I totally agree with you with the bear market statement. Building in a bear market and continuously showing up, I mean, it takes grit. The team needs to be dedicated. There needs to be longevity. Anybody could shine in a bull market, right? Everything's potentially going up, but it's what happens when they're on the flip side. And you guys have proved, and you guys not only proved, you're still here. You're still building. You delivered the lock drop, which is very clean, actually. I actually used it previously. So looking forward to seeing what you guys have to bring to the table, all the partnerships, the sexes, even though you guys are listed on major exchanges, but it doesn't hurt to expand and widen the community and access to other people that might not have access to Binance or other exchanges you guys are on. And talking about the token, let's jump into tokenomics. I mean, it's quite important to understand. It's very critical. So can you walk us through the supply, distribution? Is there any burn mechanisms? How are holders rewarded? Maybe you can give us an overview on the cat token and how it plays a huge role in the economy.
Of course, of course. So our tokenomics are designed in a pretty simple way. Like personally, I'm a huge believer of fair distribution. What we have seen, like what was a huge unfortunate trend in the market was all of the low float, high FTV type of projects, very VC backed, and of course they have their use cases and there's reasons for it. But in general, these kind of token economy designs, they are not favorable for the average retail investor. So we decided to really work with a very high TGE unlock. As of now, on top of my head, let me think, 83 of the tokens are in circulation, which is a very high number, and the rest of the tokens, being the treasury and the foundation tokens, they are vested. So the treasury is vested for the year, and the foundation tokens are vested for 2 years. Um, so this is very low inflation, and the vast majority is in the community's hands. Like I said, 83% of the supply is currently in circulation, and we have burned 10% of the token in the past. So that's something that we already did. For now, no future burns planned. Um, and the majority of the tokens is in circulation, of course. So yeah, that's it for now. There is a little bit of a deflationary component to the cat token, as people can stake their cat tokens for airdrops of other projects. The more the basic premise is, the more lock-drop partners we onboard, the more people are incentivized to stake their cat tokens to receive airdrops from other projects, which in turns makes the cat token deflationary. That's a little bit the idea also behind the product. So for thus far, the token economy design and the token utility.
Amazing. I have to agree with you that we saw for a period of time where we saw very restrictive vesting, we saw high FDVs. So you guys changed up the playbook, which worked extremely well. And you said about 80% of the tokens are unlocked, trading on the market or in the community's hands, which I think is bullish. Having most of the tokens fully vested, you can't beat that, right? Do you guys provide any real utility beyond being a meme token? I know there's like a fine line of being a meme, creating revenue, or providing real value, right? So, what can you explain if there's any features, use cases? Do you guys have anything planned to keep it relevant long term? Maybe there's a mixture from the actual Web 2 side where people can interact maybe with the team creating the episodes, anything along that line. You have some huge fans that maybe want to get involved, which potentially they were never able to do so until this day, which would be through the token, correct?
Yeah, I see your question. Like, it is very, very important for a token to have like build utility that the community wants to see, right? And like two major players in the game that are actually three major players in the game that I really look forward like up to is Pengu, is Floki, is Bonk. These guys, they really listen to their communities and they really build what their community wants to see, and we are no different. What started off as like an IP-based meme token, with all of the benefits included, you name it, like the sense of community, the sense of belonging, building something together, being sub part of something bigger. The social aspect goes so far, but eventually you need to showcase that as a team you're consistently developing something, and actually something that the community wants to see. So Lockdrop was exhibit A. Lockdrop is exhibit A. And like I said earlier, like we do have all of these components already ready. The IP, merchandise, the games, um, all of that good stuff, the Web3 components, the communities, the advertising. Everything is ready. So we are working on a long-term future plan as well, where we leverage these things too. So it will be more on the IP side of things as well. And I know this is still very vague. I'm really trying to not tell too much at the moment, whilst answering your question. But it basically boils down to this. You got to build products, you got to build connections that make sense for the IP, for it to be more than just like a community on Telegram, on Twitter. So you constantly got to keep building new things. And I think we are very future proof. We are very future proof. Besides all the things that we have right now, besides all the products that we are going to build, that we are developing and waiting to release, besides all of the accessibility on the 50 plus exchanges and neobanks, we have a very good ticker. It's cat, which in my opinion is the supreme ticker for all cat tokens. And this is a very fast growing vertical as opposed to like the dog tokens. So in the future, what I foresee and what my vision is that we have Doge, number one dog token, and cat, number one cat token. So we design everything to be future proof. This goes for our marketing. This goes for IIPs. This goes for our merch. This goes for the games. This goes for the ticker. Everything that Simon's Cat does is future proof and is universal. And this is also proven in like the more than a decade, nearly 2 decades of sustained popularity that the IP has had ever since. So keeping that philosophy in mind, we try to make everything future proof for the marketing that we do, the accessibility that we do, the strategic choices that we make, the token economy design that we make, the product releases, the timing, everything has to be future proof. So again, without like hinting towards too much of what's going to come out in the future, yes, we do keep that in mind a lot, because without longevity, a project would be nothing but a Christmas tree type of chart where something goes up and it goes down and it dies. And we've seen that before in the market many, many, many times. And we've also seen examples of projects that do very well by listening to their community and by implementing the changes that the community wants to see.
Cat is definitely an S tier superior ticker. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, right? And you can argue that it's better than Doge. Doge is a household name, but if it was Dog, Doge, very similar. But Cat, I mean, nothing gets better than that. So amazing job. And I love that you keep touching on the longevity. You guys are here, for the long game. And it's not just short term, especially since you guys have such a huge brand and IP that it just makes sense that you guys aren't going anywhere. It would just be a total blow to the Web2 side of things, right? So if you guys have everything lined up, you have the best ticker you can get for the cat tokens. It doesn't beat cat. But I want to ask you something, and you mentioned it with the Christmas tree type price action. We see meme tokens rise fast, fade away, teams disappear. What infrastructure design do you guys have or have built to help cat sustain and grow in the long term, even through the bull and the bear markets? Because you see a ton of volatility. I know you mentioned the lock drop, which is a great way for people to lock up their tokens. Is there anything else that you guys have, in store?
For now, we stick completely to the lock drop. It's very important for a project to get as much as tokens out of circulation as possible. So the number one focus, what I learned, like in a project success, is mostly token economy. Secondary is marketing, and this comes from a marketing guy, right? It's basic mathematics. The number one goal is to, of course, get tokens out of circulation, um, and that we can do through onboarding like a lot of lockshop partners. So this is a big priority when it comes to the products and to the infrastructure for the longevity of the project. Um, Projects kind of promote themselves once they do successful, and once the PA is positive, then it generally gets more mind share on Twitter. The speculative traders, they post about it more often. Um, think of marketing campaigns and partnerships and BDs, they start coming in as well. It's a huge snowball effect when it comes to that. So some things kind of promote themselves on their own. And that's definitely done through more getting more tokens out of circulation, which is like the number one priority with block drop. But like I said, there's definitely more infrastructure in the making. Um, Again, I look very much up to like Pengu, Bonk, and Floki, how they're doing it and how they are building infrastructure that their community really wants to see. And I really like to emphasize that Cat also belongs in this street of household Web3 projects that started off as a meme slash community type based project, and now are really focusing on the utility and the infrastructure of the project.
Awesome. I really love your answers. They're very thorough, and I would put you guys in the same, bracket as the same players you mentioned, Pingu, Bonk, definitely household names in the crypto meme infrastructure sector, and I think Cat definitely deserves a spot up there as well. And for everybody that's listening, we're doing a $500 giveaway. So make sure to post your questions on the spaces link. And if we have time, if Simon's Cat has time after, we'll bring up a few of you guys and you guys can ask your questions away. And you guys will be rewarded, as always, for asking and listening to these spaces. For anybody that's new to Simon's Cat, where should they start? What can they do today to get involved safely, effectively? Can you, push people in the right direction?
Of course. So the first thing that I would do is always tell people do your own research. However, you make your decisions, it's completely up to you. You should always analyze any investment decision. I'm not going to say you need to listen to everything that I say. As a matter of fact, I want you to do research. I want you to Google the name Simon Scat. I want you to watch the YouTube videos that are available from third parties, from analyzers, from partners, from KOLs, from whoever it may be that has an opinion or analysis on this token and project. That's the number one thing that I would do. Check out as much resources that you can to get to familiarize yourself with the project from whatever angle you like to approach projects, whether it be from a marketing perspective, whether it be from on-chain perspective, whether it is from a PA perspective, or purely from products. Um, it's up to you. There are so many resources online. Ask ChatGPT. um, Look up like our official channels as well. So feel free to take a look at our Twitter account, which is Simon's Cat Meme, which is the same, of course, as our Telegram community, Simon's Cat World, where you can stay up to date from all of the announcements that we are doing, everything that's coming up, alpha that is being shared. Join the community and crack some jokes in the community. It's always nice and good vibes. And you, of course, if you wish to acquire the cat token, you can do so via partners such as Binance, Spot, and other major centralized exchanges such as OKX, Bybit, KuCoin, um, but also via neobanks like Uphold or Revolut. It's also available on there. So do your own research. There's many resources online, and also it is very accessible via all of the exchanges that we are listed on. um, so yeah, my suggestion would be do your own research and join the communities.
Thank you as always. And finally, I mean, I'm not sure if I could ask you this, but what do you see in the future for CAT in terms of market cap growth, ecosystem expansion, and maybe becoming more than just a meme token?
Yeah, so on market cap growth, I cannot give any answers. um, I would think it's biased for me to give an opinion on it, but I am involved for a reason, right? Obviously, I am bullish, um, and in my opinion, this is already more than a meme token. It's a massive IP with a massive community, and everything that we have left to do is to connect the dots and wait for the right moments to strike, just like we always do, and that's just something that we keep on doing. So that's it. That's all we do.
Amazing. Yeah, I didn't think you were going to give us a moonshot market cap prediction, but we tried. For the questions, if you have time, we could bring some people onto the spaces, or would you prefer that we pick out a few of the questions through the comments? Do you have some time for some questions, Simon?
Absolutely, absolutely. Keep them coming.
Awesome. So the first question is from Mr. Madnick. They're loading onto the spaces. Okay, they're a speaker now. I was going to read it out, but I'll give them the honor to do so. Mr. Madnick, feel free to ask your question. Simon's Cat has already gone viral in Web 2, undeniably. What's the biggest challenge and opportunity you see in bringing the same energy into Web 3 with memes and community?
It's an excellent question. So the virality and the virality within Web 2 is largely to do with um, something very relatable. I think that most of the cat owners can really see themselves in the character Simon and can recognize their cat within Simon's Cat, as it does like very quirky, relatable things and would do all kinds of naughty things to get the food, and cause chaos along the way. So I think this just resonates with like a lot of cat owners. I think in the Web3 space, we do something similar. And I think if you take a look at our socials, you see that many of the Simon's Cat posts are not really being posted with like a Web2 type of caption, but are often translated to Web3. So we can, to give like an example, I have to take a look. Yeah, for example, we have an image of Simon's cat throwing an apple into a stack of leaves, and it would hit like another animal, which would chase Simon's cat away. And then the caption would be among like rage baiting no coiners. So most of these captions are being translated into something more Web3. So it's a similar approach to Web2, but we try to approach it in Web3 and to really emphasize the community growth. I think it's important to bring everything that is being done correctly in the Web 2 into the Web 3 and start connecting the dots. I think that's the most important one.
Awesome. Thank you for your question, and thanks for the answer as always. We have Gus up next. I mean, your PFP is a cat, so the stage is yours, Gus, to win.
All right, yeah, thank you. So my question to the team, Simon's team, is about the NFT. So I just want to know if since it's a meme related, so do you have NFT characters, and also do you have plans of or if you don't have NFT, do you have plans of incorporating them? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. It's a very good question. I get this a lot, and it definitely hasn't gone unnoticed. Right now, there is no Simon's Cat NFTs, and there will be no Simon's Cat NFTs in the near future. This might change in the far future. I mean, it's not something that we haven't discussed internally, but for now, it is not on the planning. Neither do I think that right now is the right moment to release something like this or work something like this in particular, because it's not NFT season right now at all. We've usually seen this like late cycle, and no, this is not something that is in the books right now.
That's a great question, not going to lie, because when we were having our conversation, I was thinking, should I ask about an NFT? Are they going to launch an NFT? Then I was like, maybe somebody will ask it, and somebody did. So great question, and it definitely answered, what I was thinking as well. So let's, sorry.
Yeah, I think so too. Like Simon's Cat is definitely something like that can be used as a PFP or something, right? So I can understand where the appeal comes from.
Of course, imagine owning a 1 out of 1 Simon's Cat. I mean, it would be priceless. CS, you are up next, Mr. Chitty CS. The stage is yours.
Hello guys, can you hear me?
Yes, Duke.
Yes,
Go for
can
it.
hear you.
Yeah, I am Joe. I am Joe. Can I ask my question?
Go for it.
Yeah. My question is, what are the main features and benefits of the CAT token, and how does facilities staking and super staking?
Okay, to repeat your question is, what are the main utilities of the CAT token?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like an IP-based community token. So the main utility for now is that it accesses like Lockdrop, and Lockdrop is the product where you can stake your CAT tokens for a set period of time. If you stake your CAT tokens, you receive points. The longer you stake your CAT tokens for, the more points you get, and your amount of points divided by the total amount of points by all the stakers decide how big of an airdrop you get from other projects. So another project could come to us, could say, hey, I want to be listed on Lockdrop. We say, okay, and we do our due diligence. If it's a green light, it goes on Lockdrop. You can stake your tokens. Um, you get an airdrop from this project, and in the meanwhile we do everything within our ability to showcase this token to you, to explain to you everything that's about this token, and to give you a fair chance to understand the token in depth as well.
Thank you for the question, and thanks for the answer. We have Raxon or CS, the two last questions. Raxon?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you ask my question, sir?
Of course.
My question is, how does community feedback play in the development of your project?
Excellent question. Like, what you're asking here is, from an operational level, the moderators, they feed us any type of feedback that we get from the community. So this can be anything that is small. Nothing is left unseen. So if you ever have a complaint about Simon's Cat, I will get to know it. Everybody in the team will get to know it. We will understand every single small detail of a problem that is within the community, but also, more importantly, every wish that you have about the product's development. For example, your question about the NFTs, it shows to me that there's a demand, that somebody has been thinking about this, right? So this has become like, we've seen this earlier in the community, and that's also why we discussed this internally within the team as well. So we look at every small noise that is being made within the community. It's being fed to the core team, and the core team will take into decision whether something is like, hey, this is just a random guy who has a random idea for the project, or hey, this is more of a sustained trend. This has been a shift in the market, and also we noticed that this is becoming like bigger on Twitter. This is going to shake up the markets. Those are the kinds of developments that we are looking into, right? Those are the kinds of noises that we look out for and that we pick up, especially if it's in alignment with like the macro trends that our analyzers see on Twitter, on Telegram, on the news in the world. And that's the kind of things that we really focus on when developing things. So that's an excellent question, and I hope I answered your question when it comes to picking up sounds from the community for the developments.
Thank you. And we move on to our last question from CS. CS,
All right.
go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is about the staking. So is the staking liquid, or does it have a lockup period of like how long?
Yeah, so you can check out the staking durations in different types of pools. I'm just opening Lockdrop right now. So if you go to lockdrop.simonscat.quest, you have the home tab, you have the locking tab, you have the reward tab. If I go to locking, then I see different kinds of pools. You have a 10-day pool, that will 10 extra points. You have a 30-day pool, which will 35 extra points. You have a 90-day pool, which will 120 extra points. So the multiplier becomes larger for the longer you lock it up, but it's not linear. So the longer you stake it for, you get exponentially bigger airdrop. That's the basic premise behind lock drop, and that is how we designed it.
Amazing. That's a really great question, actually. So if you're interested in staking, earning tokens, locking up your Simon's Cat, go check out the lock drop. I want to thank you, all of you guys, for showing up. We highly appreciate it. And then thank you, Simon's Cat, for taking time out of your busy schedule, for coming here and sharing with what you guys are building, what's coming next for Simon's Cat. And everybody that participated, send me a DM. We will make sure that you're taken care of. We have another Spaces on Friday with BitLayer, so you do not want to miss that, and another opportunity to ask your question and to earn while learning. So thank you, Simon's Cat. If there's anything you want to end with, let the crowd know. You have a lot of listeners here, and the stage is yours. I appreciate everybody showing up, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for hosting the space. And for me, no further comments. Join our community to stay up to date and to learn anything. If you do have any questions, but you didn't get a chance to speak today, feel free to ask the question in the chat, and we'll get back to you shortly. But for now, I would like to thank everybody that has showed up here. It really shows how good of a community we have, and it really shows how strong the DEXTools community is as well. Much love to everybody, and have a good night.
Thank you very much. And as always, we upload every episode to YouTube, so you can actually replay this on Twitter directly, or go to the DEXTools YouTube and listen to the whole episode as you like. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you guys on Friday.